She laughed when I asked her who Leo was. Not a chuckle, a full laugh, like I'd told her the sky was green or accused her of robbing a bank. "You're jealous again," she said, still smiling as she grabbed her wine glass. God, it's exhausting. I didn't argue. I just nodded and went back to slicing vegetables. The knife moved slow, precise. My thoughts, faster. This wasn't the first time she'd said that. "You're jealous" had become her shield. Every time I asked a question that made her flinch, a name she didn't expect me to know, a late-night call she claimed was just a friend, a missed dinner because of some emergency, she called it jealousy. Every time, she wore the same smug expression, as if her innocence was so obvious it didn't need proof. But here's the thing. I stopped being jealous months ago. I started being methodical. Her phone lit up that night while she showered. Face down, unlocked. I didn't check her messages. I already had a clone on my other device. Instead, I watched the notifications roll in. 3 texts from Leo. "Same time tomorrow? You left your necklace. Miss you already." Necklace. My stomach tightened. She hadn't worn one around me in weeks. Not since Christmas. I'd noticed that absence the way you notice silence after a gunshot. The necklace had a small diamond pendant, a gift from me, engraved on the back with the date we got engaged. She said it made her feel safe. Now she left it behind somewhere I didn't belong. I closed my eyes, counted to 10, and put the phone back. The next day, I left work early and drove to an address I wasn't supposed to know. Leo's address. Took me 3 weeks to confirm it. I parked across the street, waited. Around 7:48 p.m. she pulled in. Same car. Same coat. She had changed into heels. Always heels with him, never with me. She rang the bell, and he answered wearing a shirt that looked like it belonged in a magazine ad. They kissed like it wasn't their first time. I didn't take photos. Didn't need to. That night confirmed what I already knew. I wasn't jealous. I was right. She got home just after midnight. I pretended to be asleep. She slid into bed like she hadn't broken something permanent. The next few days were ordinary. She joked, kissed me goodbye, texted cute memes like nothing was off. That was the scariest part, how easily she could lie with a straight face. She even booked us a weekend trip, said we needed to reconnect. I nodded, agreed, even helped her pack. But in the background, I was moving funds. I started separating accounts, rerouting direct deposits, forwarding mail to a P.O. box she didn't know about. I wasn't just getting ready to leave. I was preparing to disappear. Then came the night everything shifted. It was late. Rain tapped the windows like a warning. We were curled up on the couch, some movie playing, her head on my shoulder. That's when the knock came. Loud. Repetitive. Urgent. She lifted her head. "Are you expecting someone?" "No," I said, already standing. When I opened the door, he was there. Leo. Dripping wet, shaking, face pale. Not angry. Not smug. Scared. "Where is she?" he asked. Behind me. I heard her inhale. A short, sharp breath like someone had punched her. "What are you doing here?" she hissed from the hallway. Leo looked at me, then past me, toward her. "You didn't tell him?" My voice stayed flat. "Tell me what?" Silence. Rain. Her eyes darted, calculating. Then she turned on him. "You're crazy," she said. "Leave. Now." He stepped forward. "You said you were done. You said we were leaving together. You said." I said nothing. She snapped, her voice rising. That's when I stepped between them. "Leo," I said calmly, "why are you really here?" He looked at me then, really looked. And I saw it. Not anger, not betrayal. Panic. "She stole from me," he said quietly. 50 grand. I wired it to her for a lease she said we needed. Now she's ghosted me for 3 days. My wife laughed again. A sharp, almost unhinged sound. "Are you serious? You're accusing me now?" Leo reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumpled receipt. Transfer confirmation. Her name. Her account. Dated 4 days ago. I didn't move. Didn't blink. "Do you want to explain that?" I asked her. Her mouth opened, then closed. Words failed her. That was new. For the first time in a year, I saw fear in her face. Not because of me. Because the lie she built was collapsing in real time. I let Leo Indiana. Not because I wanted to, but because the next part needed an audience. She stood frozen as I walked to the hall closet and pulled out the duffel bag I'd packed 2 weeks ago. "Where are you going?" she asked, voice brittle. "Same place you were," I said. "Away." Leo looked between us, confused. "You're leaving her?" "No," I said. "She's staying. This house. It's in my name." The car? Mine. The accounts? Already locked. She'll stay, but she won't own a damn thing. Her face turned red. You can't do that. I walked past her, placed the keys on the counter, then turned. I already did. Leo didn't sit down. He stood stiffly near the door, still soaked, eyes darting between us like he was trying to catch up to a script we'd all stopped reading. My wife? No, Madison. She still hadn't said a word. I tossed the duffel into the trunk. By the time I came back in, she was crying. Real tears now. The kind that don't fall unless something valuable is slipping through your fingers. You don't understand, she said to Leo, but her eyes were on me. It wasn't about the money. I thought you'd take care of it, like always. That line hit harder than she probably intended. Take care of it. That was me in a sentence. Cover the gaps. Absorb the blame. Patch the holes. Fund the dreams. 4 or 5 years, I'd been the financial safety net, the emotional buffer, the guy behind the curtain pulling levers so the show could go on. I thought we were partners. Turns out, I was a foundation. Replaceable. Ignored. Until it cracked. Leo broke the silence. You told me he was controlling. That he checked your phone. That you were trapped. Her head snapped toward him. I never said that. He pulled out his phone and held it up. I have the texts. She stepped forward a little too quickly. Delete them. No, he said, pulling the phone back. What the hell is this? And now it unraveled. She reached for his phone. He backed away. I stood between them. You used him, I said. Her voice was sharp now. Don't talk to me like I'm some criminal. You're not, I said. Criminals are more careful. Leo's face darkened. Wait, are you saying this was all fake? I ignored him. My eyes stayed on her. Leo was just the latest, wasn't he? You get close. You make them feel special. Then you empty their pockets while they think you're looking at the future. Madison stepped back like I'd slapped her. You don't know what you're talking about. I reached into the drawer by the fridge and pulled out the manila folder I'd prepped a week ago. Credit applications in her name. 5 separate bank accounts. Wire transfers traced from Leo and 2 other men to her personal LLC, the one she kept off our taxes. The shell account. She went pale. You lied to me, Leo whispered. I handed him the folder. She lied to all of us. Leo read a few lines, then closed it. Quiet. Like something inside him had turned off. You knew this was going to happen? I nodded. It was always going to happen. She just didn't know how much I'd figured out. He left without another word. Didn't slam the door. Just walked out into the night, soaked and broken in a way I'd been 6 months ago. I watched him go, then turned to her. You played the wrong man this time. Madison dropped onto the couch, silent. Her strength drained. Her lies dried up. I didn't want to fall in love with him, she said finally. It just happened. I almost laughed. You don't fall into bank accounts, Madison. You walk into them with a plan. She looked up, desperate now. What are you going to do to me? That was the first honest question she'd asked me in months. I walked over to the kitchen, pulled out the envelope marked Final Terms, and dropped it on the table. Divorce papers. Signed. Pre-negotiated. Backed by every bit of leverage I'd gathered. The fraud, the misappropriation of funds, the shell accounts. She would get nothing. No alimony. No home. No vehicle. All of it airtight, legal, and filed with my attorney 3 weeks earlier. I'm not going to ruin you, I said. She blinked. You're not. No. I leaned in close. You're going to do it yourself. I didn't wait for her to sign the papers. I didn't beg, argue, or threaten. I just picked up the folder, dropped it at her feet, and walked upstairs. By morning, she was gone. Not just from the house, from the accounts, the plans, the version of life she thought she'd tethered me to. She took a few things, a suitcase, a coat, some jewelry she probably thought I wouldn't track. She was wrong. I had receipts for everything. Every dollar. Every gift. Even the engagement ring. Leased, not purchased. That one always made me smile. I gave her 2 weeks. Not to change her mind, to realize I already had. She tried to play innocent first. Texts with half apologies, questions like, can we talk? Or do you really want to throw everything away? I didn't answer. Then came the threats. She sent a message warning me that if I didn't stop harassing her, she'd file a restraining order. I forwarded it to my lawyer, who responded with a full dossier, proof of financial deception, falsified loan applications in her name, and wire fraud involving 3 men, including Leo. Attached was a draft letter to the state attorney's office. I didn't send it. Not yet. Madison went quiet after that. She must have realized the game had shifted. She wasn't holding any cards anymore. I didn't leak anything, didn't expose her online, didn't contact her family, but I made sure the men she'd conned knew who they'd been dealing with. I sent Leo and the others clean financial summaries, timelines, statements. No embellishments. Just the facts. Leo forwarded it to his attorney. 2 months later, Madison was hit with a civil suit. Then another. And then a freeze on her accounts. I didn't testify. I didn't need to. The evidence spoke louder than I ever could. By the time her court date came around, she looked like a shadow of herself. Thinner, quieter, no designer heels, no smug smile. She wouldn't look at me. I didn't gloat. I sat in the back of the courtroom, silent, still. Just a man who'd stopped being jealous and started paying attention. When the verdict came, fines, restitution, financial restrictions for 5 years, she cried. Real tears. The kind that don't change anything. Afterward, she followed me into the hallway. You ruined me, she said. I turned. Not angry. Just clear. You did that. Her voice cracked. I thought you loved me. I did, I said. But love doesn't mean blindness. It doesn't mean standing still while someone digs your grave and asks you to hold the shovel. She started to say something else, but I walked away. I never heard from her again. A year passed. I moved cities, started a consulting firm under a different name. Clean slate. Quiet office. Real peace. Sometimes people ask if I regret not taking revenge sooner. If I wish I'd shouted, caught her in the act, burned it all down. But that's not how you dismantle a liar. You don't expose them. You let them expose themselves. You stay calm. You document. You wait. And then, when it all falls apart, you don't need to lift a finger. You just let gravity do the rest.